Hi, I'm Kirti Kumar Chen from Hexaware. I'm part of cloud practice in Hexaware, working on migration and modernization piece, pre-sales and solutioning for Amaze. Today I'm here to explain you the Amaze capability, how we do monolith to microservices in 6 to 8 weeks. Amaze is our IP. I will give you details, the value we get in Amaze transformation. Let's jump into it. Okay. So, a brief introduction about Hexaware. Hexaware has three themes: Amaze, Ubiquity, Tensai. Basically, cloudify everything, transform customer experience, and automate everything. These are three main products in in the market. We are $1 billion startup. We recently got addition into Gartner quadrant, and we got a patent for our product as well. This is a view of Gartner quadrant. We are there basically for our Amaze product. Amaze helps us to automate the modernization to cloud. We are leading visionary in Gartner quadrant. We are just behind Deloitte. In comparison to all other biggies, we are very much ahead in automation for cloud migration and modernization. This is a piece where we talk. Let's go into details. So, when we talk about migration and modernization, you must have heard about multiple R's. People keep on changing the number of R's. Here we are talking about re-platform, refactor, re-architect, rehost also. When we talk about rehost, we are just migrating app servers as is. We are not trying to utilize the value of cloud. What Amaze does is Amaze helps you go much beyond that. It helps you realize the benefit and agility of cloud, the agility, the elasticity, the scaling capacity which comes with the cloud, the resilience. It helps you. If you go cloud native, you can you can serve your business needs better. So when we talk about re-platform, basically it is Oracle to Postgre migration, or we talk about WebLogic WebSphere to Tomcat migration. If not that, we can at least upgrade the .NET framework or a Java libraries framework so that you can move to container or cloud in a secured manner. When we talk about refactor and re-architect, it is about creating microservices. So imagine you have a monolithic running on-prem, but when you move to cloud, it Amaze in an automated way breaks down your application and enables you to deploy and container as a service on AKS or function Azure function as well, so that your business modules can scale as depending on the needs. So what's the benefit of it? We guarantee actually 50% cost savings from it. When I talk about 50% cost saving, the actual modernization effort is reduced by automation, and the amount we guarantee is 50%. We guarantee TCO savings by 50% because we are focusing on PaaS services. It's like Azure App Services or Azure AKS or the Managed DB. So that's how we achieve the TCO savings in it. About predictable quality and performance, okay, it is faster than manual. It does everything automated. The assessment, transformation, it's a single click. You get the transform code as output. Now, what is this predictable quality and performance? So when we transform the application, we takes care of all coding best practices as part of it, and the output you are getting is always of a high quality. We have observed at multiple customer places that this has resulted in reducing the testing effort of the application modernization piece. Now, last which we see is high security and compliance. When I talk about high security compliance, when you transform the application, it has capability to upgrade your .NET version. It has a capability to upgrade your Java libraries. So imagine a ASP.NET application, you can convert it to .NET Core. I understand sometimes customer may not want microservices also every time. They just want to keep monolith as is, but still you need to move to latest OS or latest frameworks to remove the security vulnerabilities. That's where Amaze can come in. It helps you upgrade your security compliance by removing all vulnerabilities of your code. So who is the buyer, what they will get, and why they should use Amaze? So we should approach CIO, CTOs, VP of engineering, head of cloud transformation, head of architecture. When I talk about head of architecture, it's like there are enterprise architecture team deciding the direction of cloud strategy, like we should use container, we should use function as a service. So all that are our like buyer personas. Where to start? We can start with a pilot transformation. You must have heard these terms many times, like legacy apps. We have apps with minimal documentation. We have like end of life technology framework. People who have developed the application have left the organization. That's our sweet spot. So Amaze helps you to get away with that fear. Most of the time, for those applications, they are critical in nature, but nobody knows what is in there. They leave the application either to rehost or retain. But Amaze help you to modernize the application so you can use more, you become more agile, and you can reap the benefits of business in a better way. What is the value proposition? It enables you to do accelerated cloud adoption because it is accelerating the cloud modernization. To some extent, it gives stickiness to Azure because we are focusing on PaaS services. If you do rehost, it's very easy to move away from, it's a VM in the end. But if you go to PaaS services and you deploy on all API gateway and everything, then it becomes sticky to Azure. What is the value for customer? They get better cloud benefits, which will not be there as part of rehost. These are a view of technologies we support. We basically support legacy .NET, ASP.NET apps, Java apps. We also do TIPCO migration, so we have capability to move away from TIPCO license and re-platform them to Spring Boot framework. And these are the DBs we do, DB migrations we do. So kind of we can move away from Oracle and put it on Azure Postgre. We can re-platform IBM DB to Azure Postgre. So these are our sweet spots. This is the high level timeline we take from for modernization. If you take a re-platform simple application, we can do it in 4 to 6 weeks. If we talk about re-architecting a complex application and deploying it on fast and microservices fashion, it is somewhere around 8 to 12 weeks. Now you can imagine, as per industry standard, it's generally take 8 to 10 months. We are reducing it to 8 to 12 weeks. How we do it? We analyze your code in detail through our assessment capability, and then we transform it using our transformation engine. What you see here is a sample assessment report. We'll go in detail during our demo. It gives you a complete breakdown of your application in terms of technologies used, what is the container readiness, platform readiness, DevOps readiness, what are the microservices candidate. And once you see that, you can decide the what are treatment you want to go for, whether you want to re-architect the application, re-platform the application, and it also gives you a view of complexity of your application. So we'll go in detail when we see the demo. At high level, I just want to give you a view of re-platform of a Java application when we re-platform it to Azure. So on the left, you see the on-prem view, right? You see the re-platform view. So we basically re-platform all the WebLogic, WebSphere, and JBoss server to Azure App Service and Tomcat. So you get away, you can free yourself from the licensing cost of these COTS application. And we can migrate your EJB and other services to Spring REST services. When we talk about re-architect, which is we are trying to use container as a service or function as a service, basically Azure AKS or Azure functions. That time we kind of move away from the application server and we try to migrate it to Azure functions. We actually create all REST API based business services. What we don't do is we don't touch the UI. UI gets we expose the web services and UI gets integrated to that API. So what and similar, there are slides available for .NET transformation also. I'm going about my what we have done. So overall, we have done almost 6,000 plus credentials. 6,000 plus transformations. 400 plus applications are transformed, migrated to cloud for Fortune 500 global companies. This is a comment from analyst briefing. They see us, our ability to execute as best, our innovation as the best, and we try to convey what customer wants. Yeah, so these are the Amaze case studies, and this is a big pharmaceutical company in Europe where we have done almost 50 app modernization, and we have done a Oracle DB transformation as well, where we have replatformed it to Azure Postgre. Let's quickly jump into the demo piece where I give you a glance of how we do assessment and transformation, and also a view of the outputs you get as part of the transformation and the microservices code output of it. Let's go there. Okay, so this is let's talk about how we do it. This is the Amaze portal, Amaze console. Basically, you see there are two options available: Cloud Transform Readiness Assessment and Cloud Transform. So let's go through the readiness assessment first. Why assessment is needed? Once the assessment is done, it gives you insights about the application, and it helps you define the proper R treatment for it. Maybe when you look at the application, you decide multiple microservices you want to completely re-architect, or if it is you want to group some services, you maybe just want to refactor a bit or re-platform. So to decide, we need to do assessment. Once we have the target, our treatment and everything decided, then we can do the cloud transform piece. So this is our Amaze console. You see there are two options of assessment and transformation. Assessment helps you give insights about the application, the technology landscape, and other complexity factors. It helps us to identify whether application is a simple, moderate, or complex. Depending on those insight and complexity classification, you can decide the right R treatment. When I say R treatment, like whether you want to do a re-platform, re-architect, and then we can, once you have that R treatment defined, you go for transformation, and in the transformation, you select the proper R factor, and then you get the transform code. Let's see how we do the assessment piece first, quickly. Where we start with the assessment, and we select a type of app, so Java or .NET app, and we start the assessment. We define a target state first. Why do we need a target state? Because the assessment is done for a target definition. If, for example, if you change from target pass to Azure AKS or OpenShift, the results will be different. So if you want to change any parameter in the target platform, we can rerun the assessment quickly. This is where we are defining all the configuration of the target platform. What is our middleware? What is the cloud service we'll be going to use? Uh, what will be the database? If you go in database, you will see whether we will be using Azure Postgre, and the DevOps piece. Once this is done, we'll be uploading our code. So this is the place where you are uploading your monolithic Java code for the assessment. You see here and once it is done, we run the assessment piece. We run discovery. It runs for some time, depending on the lines of code. Basically, it takes time. So it might take 2 hours to maybe a 1 day if it's a huge application. Once this is done, you will get a mail notification. The assessment is ready. You get assessment ID. You log in with the assessment ID again. What you see here is the configuration we defined in the starting before the assessment, the target platform configuration. It preloads that. You have an option of changing all this at the time of transformation again if you want to, but it is at least preloading everything. Now you see it has identified all the application libraries, and it is giving you an option of upgrade, whether we want to do the upgrade of application libraries or not. Also, here you see it has identified the EJBs in your application code, and it gives you option of creating microservices out of it. You have also a choice to group it if required. Once all that is done, you quickly see all the cloud preview and configuration, and then you generate the report. Once a report is ready, Yeah, we'll quickly use the assessment peer in existing assess. Sorry, let's start from here. We quickly go in the assessment again to see the details of the report. Uh, this is the assessment ID which we got at the start of assessment. Uh, this assessment ID is a key which we will use to in transformation piece as well. And let's see, this is our assessment. So now you see it has analyzed the monolithic code and generated a report. You see a container readiness, 74% code is already ready, 25% code can be transformed by Amaze if required. Re-platform readiness from Tomcat, for Tomcat 74.5% code is ready, 24. So it actually gives a readiness for all the modules of application, like if there is a pro message breaker for DB, for DevOps. It also identify your microservices candidates, which we saw earlier as well. Now, once you are fine with this and looking at this, you decide whether you want to architect the application, re-architect the application. Let's go into the transformation piece. Here you see the option of, sorry. Here you see the option of refactor, replatform, re-architect. We'll quickly select the re-architect piece. And again, the same thing, assessment ID. Once we confirm the target configuration and we run the transformation. Once transformation is complete, we'll be able to download the transformed code. So yeah, once the assessment is once the transformation is complete, we'll download the transformed code from the portal. Let's look at the output. The output you see has created three folders: one for Azure Terraform scripts. It has decoupled your web and microservices layer. If you go inside the web folder, you see a Docker file and Jenkins files created. If we go in the services folder, you see all the business API created. If we go in the Terraform folder, it creates a Terraform script for the application. Also, all the infrastructure application. If we see in the POM file, it has removed all the EGP dependencies. It has injected the Spring and Swagger API dependencies required for microservices. So this is how we do the transformation. It may look like you don't see what is happening in the backend, but that's the magic of automation. You upload your code and you get the downloaded transformed code, and you can change the configuration and you can try the permutation combinations, which way you want to go, whether it's re-platform or re-architect. So this was Amaze transformation. This is how we transform your application from monolith to microservices in 8 to 10 weeks. We help you accelerate your application modernization journey. Hope we will be able to use Amaze at your place. Thank you for your time.